What's up guys, kevincage here with another crypto update. We have a bunch to get into today, so let's start off with XRP. So first up, for the past year or two, we've discussed MFS Africa, a Ripple ODL partner, and they're absolutely massive. They recently changed their name to this group. I actually have to watch a video or a press release and make sure I know how to pronounce it. I'm just going to say Anafric. Now we know this group is absolutely massive, previously MFS Africa accessing over 500 million mobile wallets. We are the network of networks that provides convergence and interoperability by enabling our partners to scale their digital payment strategies. Over 1,300 cross-border payment corridors, with 40 African nations in their network. Now remember, Ripple rebranded and they call everything Ripple Payments. Customers like PayAngel in the UK, we have People, and then we have Zazi Transfer in Australia are now able to make speedy and cost-effective remittance and business payments to recipients in 27 countries across Anafric's Pan-African network. So going forward, just remember how big this organization is, with millions of mobile wallets, 40 African countries, and 1,300 payment corridors. So this is a massive payment hub in Africa that connects to other countries. And even from last year's post, we can see that Africa accounts for 70% of the world's $1 trillion mobile money value. And last year, the FinTech Payment Hub connected 400 million mobile wallets. Today, it's 500 million. We can see 35 African countries. Today, it's 40 countries. And then across more than 800 payment corridors. And today, it's over 1,300. Next up, we got some big news from Medico, Ripple's company, along with HSBC. So this was actually at Ripple's annual event, Swell. HSBC, one of the big three banks that oversees over 80% of cross-border payments, announced it's working with Medico as it plans to launch a new digital asset custody service for institutional clients who invest in tokenized securities. Once live in 2024, HSBC's new digital assets custody service will complement HSBC Orion, the bank's platform for issuing digital assets. They're working with Medico using its institutional platform Harmonize as part of HSBC's new custody service for digital assets. HSBC is headquartered in London, serves customers worldwide in 62 countries and territories with assets over 3 trillion or 3,000 billion. And I recommend just going to Medico and looking at the media and news. A couple months back, we either went through a dozen or a couple dozen different banks that are building custody solutions, sometimes for security, sometimes for DeFi, sometimes just for digital assets in general. You can see Philippine Bank to launch trading. You have BBVA building its crypto muscle with Medico, all types of stuff. So a quick summary of a few announcements that were made at Ripple's annual conference. They've received money transmitter licenses across numerous US jurisdictions. With single onboarding, customers are now able to access nearly 100% of global payout coverage to more than 70 payout markets. A new integration with the XRP Ledger's native DEX or decentralized exchange will buttress, or reinforce, that's a word I never use, global liquidity options for Ripple customers. And through newly expanded liquidity options, Ripple Payments can fulfill customers' liquidity needs on demand 24/7, 365. We have this customer called Rocket Fuel, a payment solution provider for merchants sending or accepting payments via crypto or fiat. Rocket Fuel is the first customer to use this newest iteration of Ripple Payments. And they can respond to customer demand for direct payments in multiple payout currencies. Last year, different machine learning capabilities were integrated to proactively manage the liquidity needs of customers and support a variety of transaction types like internal treasury, remittances, and business-to-business payments. And in future videos, we're going to talk about generative AI or Genny AI because that is a huge application. I think the markets for AI are going to far surpass the expectations. Now, if you hold HBAR, please pay close attention to this because this is a big deal. So first we have Hedera right here sharing OneSpan Trust Vault combines traditional digital signatures with blockchain tech to create quantum safe proofs. A leading solution that provides long-term evidence of the authenticity of valuable agreements and transactions. We can see right here built on Hedera. OneSpan unveils quantum safe blockchain storage. With recent technology developments related to AI and the rise of quantum computing, it's increasingly clear that the integrity of digital agreements is under attack, leading to data loss, manipulation, identity or asset theft, and legal consequences for an organization. Today's existing electronic signature and general cloud storage solutions cannot guarantee the authenticity of documents over extended periods of time. OneSpan Trust Vault combines traditional digital signatures with blockchain technology to create quantum-safe proofs. These quantum-safe blockchain transactions prove the origin date and integrity of the digital agreements and are not dependent on private keys that might be leaked or hacked. Very cool. Providing long-term evidence of the authenticity of valuable agreements and transactions. And everything in the world of commerce and business is in agreements. And blockchain and DLT are technologies that will be able to augment the actual reach of AI. So speaking of OneSpan, we have Generation Infinity right here. OneSpan equals 50% plus of the top 100 global banks. Generation Infinity says 100% a digital identity play for DIDs. We have this article back in 2021 for Hedera written by Guy Harrison, remember that name. We have a blockchain patent right here in the inventor, Guy Harrison. Notice assigned to OneSpan Canada. The same guy that wrote an article on Hedera and why they're switching their default anchoring protocol to Hedera rather than Ethereum. So this patent is about blockchain enhanced proof of identity. We can see Ethereum and Hedera hash graph mentioned in this patent. In the ProvenDB company, their CTO is now the OneSpan Enterprise Architect. So when you can see this built on Hedera to create quantum-safe proofs, I think that digital identity is going to be super important. Decentralized identities are going to be super important, not just for people, but for any type of agreements or NFT. We've shared by Crypto Eddie, this is the Kuwait financial house and they're a RippleNet partner. Noting the cooperation with Ripple for cross-border transfers using RippleNet, enabling them to explore new partnerships with emerging technology companies. They realize the infrastructure investment is no longer an option, but rather a necessity. Banks and institutions must adopt these programs. Perfectly said. We also have a great article shared by Ed discussing Hedera's TPS, so we can see the mainnet transactions over 27 billion. The TPS right there is over 2,000 transactions per second. And by visiting this website, ChainSpect TPS dashboard, you can see Hedera is in the top. Above Solana, BNB, Polygon, Ethereum, Algo, etc. I believe that last interview with Mance Harmon of Hedera, he said that the bulk of the mainnet transactions are Hedera Consensus Service because that is where they're seeing the highest level of enterprise adoption. But I realized that HCS transactions here are not actually included in this TPS calculation. Does Hedera's TPS include transactions generated by the consensus algorithm? No, it states that the publicly reported transaction count on Hedera does not include the intra-node gossip communication needed to reach consensus. I'd be curious what the TPS would be if you did include the Hedera Consensus Service transactions, even though they're not in a block, so you can't really do that. But if you did, the TPS would be higher. Now check this out. We're excited to announce that this organization, Takey on Tweet, a platform funded by the United States Department of Energy, the U.S. Department of Defense, and the National Science Foundation to protect mission-critical data has launched its private beta on the TFS Lite on the Hedera Consensus Service. Now why would these organizations want to spend money on DLT? With the average cost of data breaches in the US at $9.4 million and the big data market estimated to be worth $229.4 billion by 2025, it is a matter of national security that data be secured in the safest way possible. Through TFS Lite, institutions are now able to, for the first time, store entire files and computer file systems on blockchain. There is so much data, old records, that will be digitalized and put on a blockchain or at least hashed to blockchain. So just like the Casper Labs CEO said during the webinar with IBM and Gartner and Watson X, he said that you don't have to put all data on blockchain in theory, you can actually have reference numbers. So there will be all types of ways. Some will put all of the data and all of the documentation directly on blockchain. Some will actually just reference it and maybe hash it to the public chain. But for the first time here, store entire files and computer file systems on blockchain, making them encrypted, immutable, and tamper-proof for the entire lifecycle of data. We can see leveraging the private Hyperledger Sawtooth blockchain and the public Hedera Consensus Service. So this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about true enterprise adoption in blockchain 4. It is hybrid. Notice they're leveraging the private Hyperledger Sawtooth, but then leveraging Hedera's Consensus Service on the public chain. So Hedera Consensus Service is just one service of Hedera Hashgraph, leveraging a public network that is larger, more secure to confirm each block, and users can store data with the ease of drag and drop upload with one-click downloads and a permanent URL. So this is another example, and I know this is in beta, it's not live or in full production by any means, but the US Department of Energy, Department of Defense, and the National Science Foundation, this is very big. In a future video, we're going to dive a lot more into Casper because there is so much information and a lot to cover, so I'll just do a dedicated Casper video. Everybody's going to like Casper again once it's over 5 cents. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Huge thanks to all that hit the like button, and I'll catch you in the next one.